What is good, y'all? Welcome back to Appreciate Greatness. Today, we are back with the second ever Appreciate Greatness podcast. Still don't have the confirmed name for it, but for now, it's the Appreciate Greatness podcast. And today, we come in with a lot to talk about. A lot happening in the NBA world as of late. The first episode, actually, the Celtics hadn't won it all yet, and there was a pretty good idea that would happen, but they are officially the NBA champions, so shout out the Celtics. Shout out Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP. A little unexpected. I was thinking Drew would get it, but it's fully understandable with the way Jaylen played defense against Luka. Had a really good series. Hit probably the clutchest shot of the series, even though it wasn't a close series. But I do have a good amount to talk about in this episode. Now, I don't know if I'm going to ramble as much as last episode, but I could. So first things first, I guess we'll just hop right in, is Paul George has a couple of times on his podcast come out and said some things that have really kind of rubbed me the wrong way, especially for a guy who's getting old. He's kind of proven that, here, I'm going to find this on Twitter. He's kind of proven that he can't be the number two guy, right? And so to me, that brings concerns. And then he goes out and he said some things on his podcast like, I gotta find it. They were kind of just like talking about he didn't want to do the little things. He didn't like having to share the ball handling role with James Harden, things like that. That it was just like, you're 30. What is he now? 34, I believe. Let's look this one up. 34 years old. I mean, you're getting up there in age to a point where you're not the defender you once were. You're not the ball handler you once were. You're not the athlete you once were. You're starting to fall off a cliff. That's what's starting to happen with Paul George. And him saying these things instead of saying, I'm willing to do whatever it will take to win, especially for a guy who doesn't have an NBA championship yet, really, really scares me. It worries me. And to me, if I'm a team looking to trade him, I want to debunk these as fast as I can, or I want to figure out how this can fit with us, or I don't want a part of it, right? And so if I'm Paul George at this point, maybe it's a ploy to get teams not to want to trade for him, or maybe it's a ploy to get the Clippers to not want to re-sign him. And that's probably the biggest thing right now, is I don't think he wants the Clippers to re-sign him. However, that's become a whole thing. I don't know what's going to happen with the Paul George thing. I don't know certain trade offers, certain trade rumors. I really just don't know. I would love to see him on like the Kings. I think he would fit really well there as the third guy behind De'Aaron and Sabonis. I'm trying to think. The Sixers, obviously, maybe the Heat. They're in everything. So I think there's definitely a world where maybe the Warriors. I think there's definitely a world where he gets traded and he goes somewhere and he flourishes this year. But I also, with those things he said, that worries me. And as much as, or as up to, can he be a second best player, third best player on a championship team? And that's all I got to say about Paul George right now. So the next thing that happened was Alex Caruso getting traded straight up for Josh Giddey. Now, this caught a lot of flack from the Bulls fans, or from Bulls fans to the Bulls front office. And I have something to say about the Bulls front office, and it's that it's being controlled by the owner. Jerry Reinsdorf is in ownership of the Bulls and the Chicago White Sox. And you look at what the White Sox are doing right now. They're 21-60, and the Bulls are just as bad. And so to me, they don't want to rebuild. They don't want to contend. Jerry Reinsdorf is putting pressure on them to not just fully suck. And the White Sox this year said they weren't going to suck. That's what they said. Now they're 21-60. That's how bad Reinsdorf is. But it's just things like that like this owner is up here and he's micromanaging the guy he hired to run the team. And I would say the same thing's happening with the Bulls. I don't think AK has the choice. I think he's stuck in this no man's land because his boss, Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Bulls, doesn't want to rebuild. He wants to sell tickets. That's his goal. He wants to sell tickets, sell tickets, sell tickets. Well, when you have Zach LaVine, when you have DeMar DeRozan, when you have Alex Caruso, now you have Josh Giddey, you're going to sell tickets. You have Vucevic, you're going to sell tickets. Kobe White, emerging star, maybe not star, but emerging player, young guy, you're going to sell tickets. And that's where I feel like I don't know his first name, Karniashovas, is catching way too much slack. Just because it's Reinsdorf. It's Jerry Reinsdorf being up top and absolutely killing. Now, if you're going to make this trade, right, you're going Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, you have to give some first. And I think that's the problem. We saw the Mikal trade just today, like an hour ago, actually, as I'm recording this. 6 first-round picks for Mikal, which we'll get into. And you can't get any for Alex Caruso, who hired defensively, much better defensively, I should say, and maybe not as good offensively, but shot 40% from 3. And so that's, to me, it's like you can't get 1 or 2 firsts. You can't get a couple firsts that say, hey, at least, they're top 20 protected, but it's a first, right? You can't get anything like that. That concerns me. And then they say that a lot of teams around the league are saying that, or reports or whatever you call them around the league are saying that the Zach LaVine trade is going to have to be like much like an Al Horford trade was a couple of years ago from the Sixers, where they're trading Al Horford and they had to throw in a pick or 2. And I think they're going to have to trade Zach LaVine and throw in a pick or 2. And that's a problem to where you don't really have the picks because your picks that you have are going to be bad. And you traded some for Vucevic, and now you're going to have to trade some to get rid of LaVine. You haven't had picks in so long, and the last draft pick you had that was a top pick was Patrick Williams. Who knows what he's going to be? And so the Bulls are just a poorly run, poorly managed, poorly owned team right now, and Karniashovas obviously deserves some blame. Oh, he deserves a lot of blame. His last 2 trades, he traded Lauri Markkanen. That long ago, he traded Lauri Markkanen, and then he traded Alex Caruso straight up for Josh Giddey. And I'll say this. I think Josh Giddey is catching insane amounts of heat for no reason. I think Josh Giddey's a great player. He's young, and here's the thing. I understand he has those allegations, and I will never say that anything like that is okay. But this is a guy who, at the time, was 19 years old and a 18 and up. I don't know. I think it was like a club or something, like a party. And so already everyone's supposed to be 18 plus. So he goes up to a girl, and if she says she's 18, well, he's 19. He's young. He looks young. She's young. She looks. That's the thing with that whole situation is obviously it's bad. He got lied to about her age, and now he's catching unnecessary amounts of hate for it. Sorry, I keep looking over there. But it's just, as a player, obviously, I don't want to talk too much about it, but as a player, I really like Josh Giddey. His first year, wow, that is bright. His first year, he played 54 games. He averaged 12, 7, and 6. Pretty good numbers. Shot 41% from the field, not great. Shot 26% from 3. His second year, he takes a massive step up in three-point percentage, shooting 32%. He averaged 16, 7, and 6 again. So that's where I'm kind of like, hey, this guy, when he has the ball in his hand and he's not backlogged behind a Shea, a J-Dub, a Cason Wallace is there, Chet's going to have more ball handling opportunities. Like, there's a lot of guys who want the ball in their hands on that Oklahoma City Thunder team. And, you're moving Josh Giddey. And also, Josh Giddey took a 7% jump in field goal percentage from his first to his second year. So you're seeing the improvements. And this year he dropped in 6 minutes per game, too. So you're seeing the improvements from Josh Giddey. Now you're sending him to a team where he's going to have the ball in his hands more. Kobe White's going to move back to more of an off guard. Zach LaVine probably won't make it to the regular season. You'll probably still have DeRozan, probably still have Vucevic. But I don't know, man. It's odd for the Bulls. They're a weird team, just all around. Now the Thunder, Sam Presti. He's such a genius. I mean, this is incredible what he's putting together. The Thunder thrive on getting turnovers, scoring off turnovers. Alex Caruso's the best guard in the NBA, second best guard in the NBA at producing turnovers and producing points off turnovers. I think he was second in steals amongst guards, third in blocks amongst guards. He's an incredible player. He's that Derek White pickup that we saw the Celtics get. He's that for the Thunder. And Sam Presti just continues to put on a GMing clinic. Um, Not giving up any first rounders to make that trade happen, just incredible. And so now you still have all of those firsts to say, hey, we want Lowry, we want KD, we want Paul George. Well, now you can still make that trade without even having to worry about it, and still having a lot of firsts after that trade. So I think Sam Presti, he's doing an incredible job. I think we know that by now. But also, one thing I think I haven't really heard people talk about too much is you're gonna have to sign Shea. You extended Shea already. You're gonna have to extend J Dub and Chet here in the near future. And so what are you gonna do if you're Sam Presti? Well, I think that he's such a great drafter, right? You see the immediate impact J Dub's making. You see the immediate impact Chet's making. You see the immediate impact Cason Wallace is making. And then you got the guys who are they're still all young, but they're on those minimal contracts like Isaiah Joe, like an Aaron Wiggins, Kenrich Williams. Those guys you're always going to be able to find those guys. And so if I'm Sam Presti, I'm going to sign Shea, J Dub, and Chet back, and then it's just going to be you might give Cason Wallace some money. You already gave Lou Dort some money, but you're just going to keep drafting and you're going to keep finding those guys, and it's just going to keep you're going to keep having this circle of you got your big three, and I'm going to keep filling in my rotation with these guys that I draft that make an immediate impact, and that's what Sam Presti is so good at doing, is drafting those guys who make an immediate impact and also develop into something incredible. And so, just an incredible job from Sam Presti, right? Like it's just GMing masterclass is what Sam Presti is putting on in front of all of our faces over the past 5-6 years. And even with the Russell Westbrook, KD era, Harden era, he was incredible. He drafted Serge Ibaka. He drafted Steven Adams. He always has drafted well. Now, when they needed those little bits and pieces, and they were late into the draft, they couldn't really find them. Trey Mann was a miss. Darius Baisley a miss. Who else was it? Is Ooze a miss? Who knows? He could be that prototypical, that perfect four man that they're looking for right now. Who knows? And he might turn into that. The Thunder team is stacked. It's loaded. Um, Next is Malik Monk re-signing on a cheap deal. Just incredible for the Kings to get him. I think it was 4 years, 78 million, so under 20 million a year for a guy who I think he averaged 15 and probably 4 or 5 assists last year. And he's just a spark plug. He comes off, he makes plays, he scores, he puts the ball in the net. He's awesome. He's so fun to watch, and the Kings are keeping this fun core, this super fun team intact, and I'm so excited to watch Kings basketball next year. Malik Monk signing on that deal, also allowing them to be able to bring in someone else like a Paul George, like a KD, no, probably not, like a Kyle Kuzma, like a Deni Avdija, someone like that. I love the signing, and I love what the Kings are doing. I think they're finally being a well-ran organization. Thank the Lord. And the last thing I have written down to talk about is the Mikal Bridges to the Knicks trade that just happened. The Nova boys, man, they're back. You're gonna have Jalen Brunson. You have to re-sign OG, so you're gonna have Jalen, OG, Mikal, Julius Randle, probably Hartenstein or Robinson, and then you have off the bench DiVincenzo, Deuce, Josh Hart, and Mitchell or Hartenstein. I mean, just an incredible team. You have Jalen Brunson, who's your star that you can rely on, you can go to in the clutch moments, and he's going to deliver. He's shown that time and time again in the playoffs. He delivers. Then you have Julius Randle, who's a good two. I think he's become a little underrated over the past couple of years, especially this year where he got injured. And so obviously we're going to forget about him a little bit, but this Knicks team, they have a great chance to be really, really, really good soon. And by soon, I mean this year. That they're going to make waves. Um, I could see them winning a championship. I really could. I think they're such a beautifully put together team where you have your star at point guard, then you have these great 3 and D wings who can self-create a little bit, then you have a really, really great self-creator in Julius Randle who can play make, and then you have your center who is incredible shot blocker inside, no matter who they play. Incredible shot blocker inside, great rebounder, and great positional defender. And so they're kind of just building this really good team, and now you have a 9-man rotation with Tom Thibodeau coaching, where they're gonna make something work, and they're gonna make some noise. And I think right now, as of right now, they're my personal favorite out of the East, and the Thunder are my personal favorite out of the West. And so I think that's like the teams of friendship in each conference going to face each other in the finals. It'd be fun. But for the Nets, I really love this trade. You get 6 firsts out of the Knicks, which is insane compared to the Thunder getting Caruso for 0. You would think Mikal would be worth 2, maybe 3. But Brooklyn, I mean, I've given them flack all year because they're stupid. I mean, they waited till the last second to trade Mikal. It happened to work. None of the other guys it's going to work for. Maybe Cam Johnson you can move. He'll probably be like a Maverick, maybe a Thunder. But, time to rebuild. You don't have any picks, but it's time to rebuild. Hit the button and get on rebuilding for the second time in in a decade. You have to rebuild without your own picks. I did want to talk about the draft. So, been a big smokescreen lately of in the draft as you guys are watching this video or this podcast is happening today. I'm also trying to keep this one shorter because obviously the draft's happening today, and I don't know. I think it needs to be a little shorter. So, Alex Sarr there's been a big smokescreen of him not working out with Atlanta, which I don't know. Paolo didn't work out with the Magic, and then he went number 1 overall. So maybe they're just so certain it's their guy, and they don't want him to come in and something go south or whatever. So it could be something like that, or it could just be like the truth, like, hey, we're gonna take Donovan Clegan, and Alex Sarr doesn't want to go there. He wants to go to the Wizards, which would be weird to me. But maybe the Bilal Coulibaly connection, France connection, that could be something. But yeah, I'm really excited for the draft. Hopefully I'm going to be live streaming it I'm probably going to go live about 6:30, 6:15. So y'all tune in if you are watching this, and if you're still watching, I love y'all. I might talk about my favorite players actually. Let's do that. Let's talk about some of my favorite guys. And to do that, I'm going to go into my little not mock draft. What's this called? Big board. Well, I'll go to my mock draft. Donovan Clegan, I love. Alex Sarr, I love. Reed Shepherd is one of the best shooters I've ever evaluated. I'll just do a quick little. Ron Holland, I think, has high potential as a defender. Zachary Risache, prototypical 3-and-D guy, potentially. Mattis Buzelis could develop into something really great. Cody Williams could develop into a really good, not 3-and-D player, but kind of like his brother. I could see him playing the same role as his brother. Rob Dillingham, probably the best all-around scorer in this draft, struggles defensively. Don't connect. Isaiah Collier. Kel'el Ware is one of my favorite guys in this draft. He blocks shots. He defends well. Great pick and roll defense. Can shoot the 3 a little bit. Can stretch the floor. Has really great post game. Can catch the lob. Really athletic. He's a really fun player to watch. I had him mocked to the Bulls in this one. I've had him mocked to the Thunder a couple of times. I could see him going as high as 7. Honestly, yeah, I mean he could go 7. Stephon Castle, one of the best guard defenders, probably the best guard defender in the draft. One of the best guard defenders I've watched. Him wanting to play point guard is a little interesting. With just, is that really his position? He scored 41 in high school against Ron Holland's team. I think we've all seen that go viral. I'm not putting too much into that. I'm more putting into. I think he's a great secondary playmaker. I don't think he's a point guard. Carlton Carrington, Bub Carrington is my favorite player in this draft by far. The the ability to create with the ball in his hands. He gets open looks with the ball in his hands. Step backs, pull ups. He does it all. He's one of the best 3-point pull up shooters I've seen in a long time. Great player, Devin Carter. Just a bulldog on defense. A really great athlete. Can really jump. I think he had a 40-something inch vertical in the combine. The jumper it looks a little weird, but it falls, and he's a really fun guy to watch. Baylor Shireman, I'm really high on. AJ Mitchell, left-handed jumper. He's kind of a prototypical driving kick guy that I really love watching play. Ryan Dunn's the best defender I've ever watched, just all around. Gets it done inside, blocking shots, getting steals, perimeter defense, whatever you need. Trey Alexander, I played against Trey Alexander in high school. That was a pretty cool experience. My freshman year, which would have been his senior year, I got in that game for a total of 30 seconds, which was pretty cool. Day'Ron Holmes is fun to watch. Harrison Ingram's pretty good basketball player. One of my favorite guys is Melvin Ajinça from France. I had him at 32, pick 32. A little high probably. He might not get drafted. I would say he's going late second round, but I really love him. Another lefty. Dylan Jones does everything on the court. Oso Ighodaro does everything on the court. Really high basketball IQ player. Reads the game well. Jamal Shed, fantastic. Really fun to watch. Can defend. Great leader on the court. Terrence Shannon Jr. is so fast, man. He is so fast, so explosive. Can hit the three. Pretty good in the pick and roll. I really like him. Tristan Newton, senior point guard, who I think is getting underrated, underlooked. Adem Bona, probably the best defending center in the draft, even though he's only 6'8". Pacome Dadier, I think that's how you say his name, Dadier. I put him 47 in my mock. I think he could go first round potentially. Isaiah Crawford, another one of those guys Isaiah Crawford did it all for La Tech last year, which is awesome. AJ Johnson's a high potential, high flyer type of pick. I think he played in Australia this year, and that's about all I'll talk about. Ulrich Chomsky could be pretty good, but that's my draft analysis for now. Y'all tune in today, actually, at 6:30. I should be trying to go live. Y'all tune in and just pop in, say what's up, and maybe you want to stick around. But I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, tell me ways to improve this, ways you would want to see things changed, whatever. Even names. Comment down some names. But I really appreciate y'all. Yeah, that's it, man. Hope y'all enjoyed. Peace.